Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What's up, my peeps? Let me see. What's going on? Man, I got some funny stuff for you guys today. I've been working on some different stuff for like comments and stuff. So if you guys are in the comment section, feel free to comment. And I got a lot of stuff that I'm planning on joking around with you guys here. What is up, everybody? What do you guys think of Taylor's performance against Ramirez? That was a good scrap. Super good scrap. Man, shout out to Taylor, man. He did it. Man, shout out to Ramirez. He fought tough. He got up every time he got put down. That was man, Taylor just was too big, was very crafty on the inside. Man, he did a good job. He did a good job. He really had a good game plan. I don't think he flustered Ramirez as much as he kind of was saying pre-fight, as far as like what was he saying? Like, that he had him kind of acting uncharacteristic. I think, as a fighter, if a fighter's talking crap to you, you're just going to talk. I mean, you're going to talk back no matter how quiet you are. You know what I mean? Like, Pacquiao got talked crap to a lot, and still said his jokes back. It was Pacquiao's way, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so I think. But shout out to Josh Taylor. Shout out to Josh Taylor. He did a good job. He. Oh, I got a special guest coming, by the way. Oh yeah, and let me put this on the bottom. So who do you guys want to see Taylor face next? So let me know in the chat. Because Taylor definitely looking for one of these.
Okay, next question. Just payday. You want payday? I know that.
Oh man, Canelo talking crap in English is the best thing ever. I'm gonna have a lot of those clips coming up in the show, especially for as people kind of comment in the chat and things like that. I'm gonna have people. I'm gonna have Canelo kind of respond to people. I'm trying to get this video out here. Let's see. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. So yeah, Taylor, as far as Josh Taylor's future, man, I put a couple names right here at the bottom. Feel like a lot of people are talking Terrence Crawford. A lot of people are talking. I saw Mikey go up to Josh Taylor at the end of the night. Just congratulated him. He told him he did a good job. He won the fight. That's a great fight. Mikey Garcia versus Josh Taylor is a great fight. Obviously, Mikey has to want to work with Top Rank again, which that didn't go too well last time. So who knows? But man, that'd be solid. That'd be a good fight. Yeah, that's a solid fight because they are both good fighters. I wish. Let's see. I have stuff that I wanna. Oh, here we got Does RGBA Jose Ramirez stablemate teach defense, not jumping in with punches footwork? Wait, does RGBA Jose and stablemates teach defense? Oh, like does Rob? Of course, bro. Of course. What you talking about? Man, he just Josh Taylor's a good fighter, man. Josh Taylor's a good fighter. He is not.
What? Hey, what? Hey, you're a horrible fighter, man. You never gonna get a fight, man. You're a horrible fighter. Horrible fighter. Horrible fighter. Compete me, bro.
Oh man. So if you haven't, yeah, I have all those all day. So if you want to talk crap in the chat, I have some of the other stuff too, some of the other bad words. So yeah, feel free to talk crap in the chat because I want to play these Canelo videos towards people. Oh man, that's one that I missed. Robert taking heat by podcast viewers for not making adjustments. Podcast viewers. You know, I wasn't listening a lot to the inside the corner. Man, I miss the days at like HBO when they were like all in there all the time. I feel like now they don't. Maybe I don't feel like they don't do that as much anymore. But yeah, I couldn't really hear what Robert's instructions were. I mean, you know, you got to give credit to Josh Taylor. You got to give credit to Josh Taylor. Like it was his night. It was his night. He beat, you know, a multiple champion, a two-time world champion at 140 pounds, at Jose Ramirez. You know, he beat Regis Procreate. He's the guy at 140 now. You know, man, you gotta give him his credit. You gotta give him his credit. It doesn't show it. Jose still makes the same mistakes. I mean, Jose's lost once, right? So I mean, to, you know, one of the best Scottish fighter in our generation for sure. But you know, I don't know. Jose's been talking about moving up to 47 for a little while now. You know, I know guys. Jorge Masvidal was 155 pounds and wasn't, you know, making a whole lot of noise. I mean, obviously he was like, I want to say a top 10 lightweight, but he was, you know, taking some losses and stuff like that. And like, you know, once he moved up to, you know, their divisions of 15 pounds, right? But once he moved up that weight, you know, he was able to be a lot better, hit a lot faster, hit a lot harder, just filled into the weight better. You know, that might be the case with Jose. He might need to just get his weight up and just fill in his body a little bit more. You know, he's been 140 pounds since his pro debut, I want to say, his whole career, from what he told me. So, you know, he's just the real deal, man. He's just, you know, really good. As far as, you know, Robert Garcia, I feel like, you know, again, I didn't hear what he was saying in the corner, so I don't know what instructions he was giving, but it really is just, it was Josh Taylor's night, man. Josh Taylor just, you know, it was his night. He's undisputed. You know, I can see Josh Taylor being, man, if he were to fill into 147 pounds, which doesn't sound like he has to. It sounds like he makes that weight fine. You know what I mean? But man, if he moves up to 147, he I think is going to be a problem at 147. I think him versus Terrence Crawford is a great fight. I love that fight. Let's see, Ramirez and Taylor and the rest of 140 won't beat any. But at 147, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. What are you saying? What the 147 pounders are saying this?
But hey, even before my fight, everybody want to hit me, but guess what? Nobody can.
Man, I'm just finding excuses to use these Canelo clips. I've been working on that. I've been working on this crap all day. Man, I'm yeah. So yeah. Anyone, let's see. Crawford destroys Taylor and Ramirez. You know, I don't know about you know, Crawford at 147 pounds definitely needs a solid name that he can put on his resume. I think Josh Taylor's the guy. I think Josh Taylor's the undisputed at 140. It's the former undisputed guy at 140 pounds as well. You know, I think it's a solid fight. It's a solid fight. I obviously I feel Terrence is definitely going to be favored to win that fight, but man, that's a great fight. Crawford's too slick, too fast and slick. Right out of the end. Yeah. Crawford's probably looking at the 140 division like.
What? Hey, what? Hey, you're a horrible fighter, man. You never gonna get the fight, man. You're a horrible fighter. Horrible fighter. Horrible fighter.
Oh, I am loving using these Canelo clips. Oh, there we go. Payday, Taylor versus Crawford. Did you say payday?
Okay, next question.
Just payday. You want payday? I know that.
Oh man, can we get Canelo to talk more crap in English? I hope Caleb like pisses off Canelo during that time, because I want to hear Canelo. I mean, he doesn't talk a lot of crap, so we'll see. But man, I would love to if Canelo kept talking crap in English. Oh man, that'd be the best thing ever. Taylor wants what?
Okay, next question.
Just payday. You want payday? I know that.
Oh man! Hey everybody! I've told you guys about the guest I'm gonna have on. He's on now, so I'll bring him in. Yo,
What up? What's up, KO?
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Chilling, man. Can't complain. How about you?
Good, bro. Let me put Oh man, I want to put your name on the thing, but I think I had to do that beforehand.
You know what? I put one in, so I think it probably popped up, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, let me see. Edit. No. Yeah, I think I had to do it beforehand. How you doing, bro? How's everything?
Cool, man. Can't complain. Getting ready. Obviously, going to Vegas first thing tomorrow. TEOFIMO Lopez has the meter workout, so I'll be there. And obviously, on fight week for Devin Haney against Linares.
Man, it's a busy week, bro. It's a busy week. How great is it to be back, bro?
Bro, I mean, come on. We had, we suffered for what, 18 months for, what it seems like? It seemed like it was an eternity. Obviously, things, turn things around. Canelo came back in December, opened up, to fans, to the media. And obviously, man, talk about Cinco de Mayo weekend in Dallas, man. Like, it's nothing like I never seen before, man. It was something else. I've been to a Super Bowl, man. That was better than a Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Man, and that was, man, it was, and we all ate off of that, man. We all had, for all of us, it was this, right? So I got this new thing cracking for the live streams. I don't know if you've seen, but all of us definitely had a big.
Okay, next question.
Just payday. You want payday? I know that.
Yeah, that was. I'm glad that Mitruzanda did that, though, because you know what? He brought out that side from Canelo we don't get, we don't see every single day. And not only that, I mean, just the views alone, it just generated more controversy post-fight. It just made, the whole thing better. So I got to give Demetrius Boo-Boo, some credit on that, man. He put pocket chains on all of us, So.
Man, I was telling people, like, it was already incredible, right? Like, it was already incredible, like, just being back, being in Dallas. Just the hotel was beautiful. Like, obviously going up to AT&T Stadium was, that place is enormous, and just seeing the whole experience of being back for me personally too, seeing you guys, seeing my colleagues again, you know what I mean, was like dope. Like, just kind of BSing and editing and all that stuff. And so, and so that's already incredible, right? This is like Friday, Saturday leading up to the fight. Saturday, the fight, 73,000 people. The crowd was incredible. Like the ladies were out. Good job posting that video, by the way. That video did good work. I tried doing the same thing, but my video was like crappy. But man,
it worked out. Obviously there was, like you said, man, everybody came out in Dallas. It wasn't just the Canelo fans, the Gypsy fans. It was just like, a bunch of casual people that wanted to come out and see, and they dressed up, like they're going to the club. It was cool, man. Like I said, it was from top to bottom. It was a great event. Like I don't even know what I could compare it to. I went to Mayweather Pacquiao. This was something else, man. This was something else. The whole production, the whole thing. Man, I got to give Canelo and I got to give Matchroom Eddie Hearn a lot of credit because what they did, man, it was unbelievable to have 73,000 people plus, and that stadium, and then the noise, the wave, man, it was something else, man.
Yeah, and even like at the post fight, right? Normally, being like us bloodthirsty media that we are, we're always like, oh well, who's next? you just broke some dude's face, but who's next? and that's normally that's just kind of it, right? Like at the post fight, and that's basically it, and it simmers down after that. But man, with Boo Boo doing that created just the cherry on the icing. It's like cool. Now all this other stuff is going to take off.
It was a pretty good fight. From the beginning that the Billy Joe Saunders didn't show up for the grand rivalry. Right. A little bit of controversy. They were saying, oh, what's 2 feet? It's like, bro, 2 feet is like 98 square feet. When you divide it with the I mean, shit, I used to live in a smaller studio than what they wanted in that ring. 24 by 24. Shit, I wish I was living in a 24 at some point in my life. Like, bro, that's over 584 square feet. Like, bro, that would put in work. So, but then Canelo was like, fuck it, we'll do 22. And, it was just a good fight week overall, man. Just, from all the trash talking from Billy Joe Saunders. At one point he told me, hey, you don't have the right equipment to interview me. Which is funny, but cool.
Yeah, Billy Joe. This is what you should have said to Billy Joe, bro.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Burger King.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Vete al barajo de aquí. Es mi noche.
Who am fighting?
No, ya van a sacar a Dimitri Santos.
Why don't you make him get out of here? Why you fuck you? Don't talk to my brother. I fuck you. We don't get that.
Hey, get the fuck out of here, because I'm gonna fuck you out right now, motherfucker.
You should have told Billy Joe, bro.
Man, that was something else. And I mean, what's the funniest thing to me was, no hate on Dimitri Santos because obviously he's a great champion. He was a 2-time Division I champion at 154, now he's a champion at 160. But he said, "Oh, Canelo, who are you fighting?" Like, bro, people been asking you that for the past 10 years. Who you been fighting? Like, bro, come on, El burro hablando de orejas, you don't do that, Like I respect him as a talented, undefeated, world champion, but bro, you just can't say that, yourself on your own foot.
Yeah, man. No, it's I feel Boo Boo, like when Boo Boo did that, we were all at the Charlo fight, right, at USC. When he did that to Charlo, I thought like, hey, like that's he's promoting himself well. Like he should pull up on everybody on their post-fight press conference like that. But bro, that was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the last time he did it?
It's been a cool minute. Yeah, it's been a cool minute since Charlo knocked out J-Rock.
Right, and that was when Charlo was at 54 still.
Yeah, exactly. He was at 54 at that point. Like I said, he had a world title. I think it was the WBO, and then or the WBA, whatever it was, and then he lost it for some reason. When he was going to sign with Rock Nation and all this BS, and then eventually, he had to go, I think, to somewhere in Europe and get another world title. Came back. He should have unified at 154, or at least face somebody, a life body, because I can guarantee you, if I ask you right now, name 2 opponents of his last fight, you won't know it, and I'll put my house on it.
Damn, you're you have to be safe.
No, exactly.
Yeah. I got this Jesus M. He's not a fan of Canelo, I feel like, because I want to say he picked Billy Joe Saunders to win before. Yeah, we're horrible fighters.
Well, Jesus M. Obviously, Rocky Feeling, he was the regular champion, which is called the WBA World Champion, not the Super Champion. He had a title 168, and then Avni Jr. was the WBC mandatory. To me, you got to blame the WBC. And if you're gonna bring up these names, I don't know if you're a Golovkin fan or if you're a Dimitri Santos fan, but I can name you 10 names from GGG who they don't remember.
It's true, man. It's true.
Because you gotta give Canelo a lot of credit, man. Three fights in 140 days, 2 against undefeated champions. He was able to beat him. Come on, who's doing that right now in boxing?
Who's fighting 3 times in 6 months in boxing? Like Canelo can fight 3 times in a year and is spoiling us. Yeah, you know what I mean? To fight 3 times in during a pandemic too, when, like you said, no one's fighting, no one's doing, that's crazy, man. Canelo's doing, and I feel like Canelo, the bar is set so high for Canelo that there's like no winning. It's you. I mean,
listen, I'm not a Canelo fan. You ain't gonna tell me, oh man, I don't. I try to be as neutral. Like if Canelo would have lost against Anthony Joshua, that's cool. It would have created views anyway. When Anthony Joshua lost against Andy Ruiz, like it doesn't matter to me. It's just we're there to cover the sport. Who wins, who does. Like you don't see me like some of the media do that. Take pictures with the fighters and say, oh man, I'm Team Ortiz or I'm Team Hook or whatever it might be. I mean, just to me that's tacky.
Right.
But yeah, like you can't hate on Canelo that he has a great. He's if you look at his history, the past easily 17 years, he faced who he had to face, and you got to give him credit.
Yeah, we got I completely agree, bro. I completely agree, and he's going after history with Caleb Plant, right? Which is
I mean, people are saying, oh, it's already done deal. He got to face Benavidez, he got to face Edgar Berlanga, he got to face Better Beef, which I think honestly I'm gonna put the house when Canelo fights Better Beef. I will bet any money that Canelo drops and knocks out Arthur Better Beef. Bro, I've been there. I seen that guy. He's 36 going on 37. He got dropped by Callum Johnson. Obviously, undefeated guy when he went in, but not a world champion, not a big name, not a heavy knockout guy. He put him down. He almost knocked his ass out. If Canelo, people still bring out, Canelo, Cotto's cousin or stepbrother.
His older brother.
Bro, he was 19. Like, that's something else. Better Beef who said, was a killer at 175, got dropped, almost got put to sleep. He was just close to losing. So yeah, I mean, I can name you 10 guys who they want Canelo to face, and then guess what? After he's done with those 10 names, there's gonna be another 4, another 5. So either you like him or you hate him.
Right? No, it's true.
One thing you gotta respect him,
Yeah, 100%, bro, 100%. And I think a lot of people saw the Better Biev versus Gvozdyk, and Better Biev against Gvozdyk looked like a monster. He looked like a scary dude. But yeah, like if that's your only fight that you've seen a Better Biev, you do need to see a couple more fights of his, because he looked excellent in that fight. But even in his last fight, I was like, I watching it, I remember thinking to myself like, oh, that's why like Eddie and Canelo don't seem very like worried about it at all. Yeah, like you could see, and it's not taking things away from Better Biev, but Canelo is an all-time great, I feel like right now. Now we're talking about like all-time great, and not only like Mexican all-time great, but I feel like we're talking like one of the greatest of all time in boxing. And when you're talking about a fighter like that, you have to be something special for people to start kind of thinking, okay, this person is a challenge, or this person's going to pose a threat. And yes, he's big, and yes, he definitely poses a threat and all that stuff, but is Better Biev like an all-time great light heavyweight? Like who's to say? But from what I've seen so far, I wouldn't say that. You know what I mean? I
mean, no, he's not that monster, And we have asked, Canelo and Reynoso, Adriana has, kind of set up the question. Hey, do you think that Artur Beterbiev is the monster that people say he is? And they say no, he's not. Like he's beatable. Like when the time's ready, we're gonna face him. We're gonna beat him. Simple as that. And if people don't think that he is a monster, it's easy. Go to PBC's YouTube. This guy used to fight deep in the undercards. They have a lot of fights of Artur Beterbiev. These are about 5 or 6 you can watch. Man, dude was getting hit by people that were like 16-7, like putting in like just go ahead and watch this and think like, dang, what will Canelo do against this guy? Right. And he's 36, 137. Canelo's 30 on his prime,
Yeah. Man, Jesus M said that he is a David Benavidez fan.
Yeah, so David Benavidez is a great champion. 24 years old, two-time WBC 168-pound champion. But he lost that belt. That's not his fault. He knows that, and it's gonna make him a better fighter, and obviously, more disciplined fighter. He's a great fighter. But I mean, if you're David Benavidez, yes, you have to say you want this fight. But to me, wait 12 months, 18 months. Have Canelo be in a couple more wars. You're 24.
Yeah, I feel like Jesus M is Bubu Andrade in this video right here.
So when can we get something going on?
Oh man!
What's up, bro? Congratulations,
Thank you.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
What's up, though?
I know that.
Canelo the comedian.
Jesus. Oh man, let's see. Man, we got a lot of like Canelo haters in here right now. Canelo
That's
buys.
cool,
his
man.
belt.
Canelo buys his belts. I mean, I
don't
mean,
know
yeah,
about
you
that.
can buy them. You can go to Amazon and buy them, but every single when you see fake Canelo with a belt, so yeah, you can buy them. I have one. Send you the link.
Your boy Larry is in the Larry carrying around the WBC.
Yeah, bro, he got a belt too. You know, it costs $200. You can get him. You know, you can get him.
Go,
What's that? If
get
Jake
your
Paul
little
had a belt, you know,
get your little picture in the circle right there.
Yeah.
Oh man,
if we can fake the moon landing, we can fake a belt. You know, I'm kidding. I don't think it's real, but I'm just saying.
The Earth is flat too, bro. Don't forget that one.
That comment he said about Canelo 175. No, Eddie Reynoso is the guy who calls the shots, and he said, you know what? After we're done with the 160, that's a challenge, and they're willing to go up to 175.
Yeah, I think they will be. I think also. I think it's kind of on 175 to it's up to those guys to unify the belts. Better BF has 2 of them now,
yeah.
I think, right?
Yes, true, yeah.
What WBA and
WBC and IBF. Yeah.
And IBF, okay.
And then WBO is Joe Smith, WBA Dimitri Bivol.
Is Bivol. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think you know, if these guys have to start unifying, you know what I mean? I think once, especially if there was an undisputed light heavyweight champion, whoever it is, if they're undisputed, Canelo's going to go up and fight them because that's Canelo, that's legacy. That's what Canelo's into. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, obviously, we're going to see Joe Smith take on Artur Beterbiev. They're both top rank. So he's going to have 3 belts at that time. You know, at that time, maybe that's when Canelo looks at, you know, goes up at 175 pounds. But yeah, Bivol is there, obviously, you know, 175 pounds. Great guy, great champion, you know, out of Russia. But again, he's not that big of a name. I don't know if Canelo, I think, in my opinion, Canelo will probably go out there and fight Beterbiev. And if he beats him, they're going to say, oh, he dodged Bivol.
Yeah, I mean, nothing new. People hating on the greatest. Yeah, man, I think he's the greatest there is right now. He's the pound for pound best right now. I feel like there's no, you know, it's been a long time since there's been like little argument to who's the best pound for pound fighter. I want to say it kind of went from like Floyd, then Andre Ward, and then after Andre Ward, you had a lot of people saying Chocolatito, which I kind of agreed with, but you know, it was. A lot of people didn't. I know a lot of people who didn't recognize Chocolatito as the best pound for pound. You know, they had other people. I don't remember who at the time. I think Terrence.
Well, that time it was like Loma. They had given Loma the pound for pound.
Right.
You know, we have that ESPN bias that even now Canelo's not number 1. You know, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
you gotta give. I mean, Crawford, great fighter, but I mean, when you gotta look at who's his opponent's work, you can't put him number 1. You can put him there as skills. You know, the top 5, You know, you can make a case number 3, but number 1, I mean, come on, bro. You can't skip Canelo.
Yeah, I think
Chocolatito down at one point, obviously, you know, when the Superfly, when he came over from Japan, you know, it was this mystery guy. Great guy, you know, obviously a champion in 108, you know, 105, 112, 115, but you just can't compare.
Yeah, bro. No, that's you know, it's just and I think now it's settled to like I feel like ESPN just has it wrong, unfortunately. You know, I mean, the resumes don't compare like the if they both retired today, like who would, you know, who's like a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Like I think Terrence probably should be, but he might not get in on the first time. You know what I mean? Because at this point, Canelo, I feel like would be a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
you know?
no doubt. Yeah, I mean, but it's ESPN, you know, so we'll see. I mean, we didn't get to see unless you had ESPN Plus. You know, you were able to see the post-fight reaction from a great fight, undisputed. You know, they're like fucking cut some commercials and go some, you know.
Right.
I mean, I get it, you know, NBA playoffs, I get it, you know, shit, I want to see it, but bro, you got like 14 ESPNs and ESPN 2, 3 news, you know, college, like, bro, just leave it for another 10, 15 minutes at least.
Yeah.
It was the post-fight interviews with Ramirez and Josh Taylor, but you know, I had ESPN Plus, I was able to see it, but the majority, at least from what I saw, they didn't get to see it. So that's
and I think that's like you said, if people want to watch the basketball game, they're gonna find it on ESPN2 for.
Yeah, it was on ESPN too. It was on ESPN too. So.
Right. It's like one channel up. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. Oh, we got a question for you. They did cover it. You guys covered it, right?
Nah. Well, we didn't go
Here and there.
I mean,
you didn't go, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know that's a question for Top Rank.
Yeah. Man, let's talk about this weekend, man. Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez. Josh Taylor became undisputed. You know, the first time obviously since Terrence, but it's been a while since, I want to say Terrence, it was never before that. So
Yeah,
it's a big deal, man. All 4 belts. You know, dominant performance. What's next for Taylor, man? What do you think?
and first of all, I mean, I want to obviously you got to give Jose Ramirez a lot of credit. You know, he was able to get up and obviously the fight could have ended. You know, the second time he went down, he decided show that Mexican heart he has and was able to close the scoring on the judges. But man, that 114-112. Honestly, I don't know what the judges were watching, but I mean that to me, Josh Taylor had a bigger win. But at the end of the day, they got it. You could say right. And then what's next? I mean, 140. I want to see him defend it a couple of times. Honestly, no. Unless they could give him that Terrence Crawford fight at 147, which I would like to see, or even Terrence Crawford move down to 140, for the simple fact that Terrence Crawford's contract is about to expire in the fall. There's no chance that I see him staying with Top Rank and ESPN. He's gonna go over across the street and go to PBC. Maybe even a Metro. There might be more options with Metro at 147 than currently there are with the ESPN and Top Rank. But yeah, if he could get that fight with Terrence Crawford, I would love to see it. But again, Mikey was there. He had some words with Josh Taylor. That would be a great fight to see. Or even Teofimo Lopez against Josh Taylor as well. So
yeah, no, I think so too. We had Vic Chavez here saying earlier. He was saying that you have to beat the lineal champ, like to basically you beat the guy. Here's where he said he's like you're basically undisputed when you basically you beat the guy. The guy. Yeah. Did Mikey beat? Who did Mikey beat at 140? I know he.
At 140, he beat
Lipinets, who was a champion, but Lipinets didn't have like the Ring Magazine championship or anything like that. Right?
It's just a magazine belt. You got it. I mean, it's not a major belt because there's no ranking. They decide who to give it to. It's a little. To me, personally, I don't count it. I rather count the interim and the regular. There's no shot at Dougie. no shot at Dougie or anyone else. But
right.
Rankings. They don't have. Good thing they don't have sanctioning fees. It's a great belt. Obviously it looks good. If I had it here on the back, I would be showing it off. I don't. I probably got to get it on Amazon. But I mean, how can you say he's not the guy at 140? I mean, he is the guy, bro. He has 4 belts. The 4 belts that count. They have sanctioning fees. The ones who have the ranking, and it was a perfect storm in a sense. Josh Taylor, he was the favorite going into the World Boxing Series. He was able to beat, Ryan Martin, blue chip. He was a hot guy at that point.
Yeah, he was.
Ivan, the guy from the Ukraine or something like that. And then obviously, Regis Progred, legit guy, a guy who was considered the best guy at 140 pounds, even before being the champion. And now this, you got to give him credit.
He's the guy. I mean, I feel like even Mikey beating Lipinets at 140. I mean, if you leave the division, you're no longer in that division. Like you don't. It's the title has to become vacant. Like if that were the case, like no one would be heavyweight champion again because Rocky Marciano retired undefeated. Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like exactly. Like there has to be a point where the mantle of lineal becomes like vacant if someone retires or someone leaves. So, but yeah, I think Josh Taylor's a man. I think it's so hard to be undisputed and probably even harder to stay undisputed because you have 4 sanctioning bodies asking for mandatories, and those things. And so, I don't know how long he stays undisputed. Man, hopefully the IBF doesn't have anything to do with that, like any issues with the IBF because they will strip his ass quick. they don't play.
Actually, with the WBO, I mean, which is a lot of times they don't enforce it, but the WBO, there's a guy, you gotta excuse me, I know there's a name, but I don't know who that. It's got some guy that signed with Metro. He's actually the mandatory, and I think leading up to this fight, they signed a contract that he had to face the winner between Ramirez and Josh Taylor.
Oh, the guy that took the step-aside money, right?
Yeah, he took step-aside money, yeah. So I'm guessing that's going to be the first world title defense. I don't know what the contract specifies with Top Rank, with Josh Taylor, if he's, signed long-term. It seems like he is. But again, I think that's who we're going to see next. I mean, obviously we want to see, Mikey against Taylor, Teofimo against Taylor, Crawford against Taylor, but honestly, it's just not going to happen next.
Yeah, do you even see, because I saw that video with Mikey and Taylor and him congratulating him and stuff. Do you Do you see Mikey working with Top Rank to make that happen? I mean,
yeah, I mean, shit. If it's money, yeah. I mean, Mikey is one of those guys that he got paid I think $8 million, to fight Jesse Vargas with Matchroom. He is, he's an independent guy. Matchroom has first say. They can match any contract. He has to go over to Matchroom and to Zone. But I don't see Top Rank working with Mikey. Mikey will be willing, because the guy, he cares about the money and the big fights. He wants those big fights. That's why he did. He doesn't. Lately he last fight he fought right before the pandemic for 29 against Jesse Vargas, like we mentioned. And he hasn't fought anyone else. He wanted to get that Manny Pacquiao fight. Obviously a slip, but a fight of this magnitude in Josh Taylor, he would be willing. But I just don't see Top Rank, be like, hey, Mikey, here, let me give you, $3-4 million, and I don't even think they have that budget for that.
Yeah, no, I hopefully Mikey gets another fight soon. I feel like the problem that Mikey had, and that's not a problem, but it's the issue as far as ranking wise with Mikey is kind of like where do you put him, right? Like, is he going to fight at 140? Is he fighting at 147? Yeah, I feel like at 147 with the size of some of the, like, Earl Spence is huge for 147 pounds. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, Spence is a guy who we're gonna see at 154, eventually, and
for sure,
160, at some point in his career.
Yeah,
Mikey just, he wants that 5th world title. That's what he wants. So in a sense, but again, it's a big enough fight that he will come down to 140. But he's still, fixated on getting a world title at 147. I asked him, Mikey, you're a 4 division world champion already. Do you feel that's enough already to be in the Hall of Fame? He's like, no, I need one more. I need that 5th. I need 147. He's taking himself out of the Hall of Fame and said, I need it. So, I mean, that's where his goals in. And who knows who's going to give him that opportunity at 147, because, the titles are pretty much, I mean, Virgil Ortiz had the same problem at 147. It's just tough to get a world title.
Yeah. After August, there's only going to be 2 guys. You know what I mean? Because I Ugas has the regular belt, right? Or no, Ugas the champion in recess,
to the super,
right?
Yeah. So now I heard rumors that the WBA was going to strip him, which is kind of fucked up. But I mean, we've seen them do worse things,
Right.
Shit, they could get away with murder, they'll do it, as long as they pay the sanctioning fees beforehand.
The sanctioning fees.
Yeah.
What's for that check?
Put it at the casket, put it at the casket, WBA champion. But yeah, man, I just see it difficult, for either guy. I mean, right now, let's say Terence Crawford is mandatory as Virgil Ortiz. At one point, it wants Terence Crawford. I mean, my bad, Sean Porter, and that's it. It didn't go anywhere. Sean Porter and his dad went over to the Top Rank, facility, said, "Hey, let's make it happen." It didn't happen. Adriana asked, we're chasing down Terence Crawford. Yo, Virgil Ortiz is now your mandatory. He's, oh, hell no, it's Sean Porter. It's like, bro, they're going to update the rankings tomorrow. And guess what? He's going to be number 1. Virgil Ortiz, do you want him next? It's like, nah, he has to wait. He ain't my mandatory. Now he is.
He is, yeah. I talked to Robert last week, and I was just kind of like, where, what's next for Virgil? Like, where does he want to go now, right? Where do you guys want to go? And he was like, we are the number 1 guy for Terrence. But even Robert was like, you know what? We're not in a rush. Like, he's 23 years old. Like, he is. It's crazy. Like, Virgil's only 20. He's a kid. You know what I mean? Like, and he was like, you know what? I maybe 2-3 more fights. I think he said two more fights. He's like, and then he was like, I think he beats Crawford now. He's like, but I want him to get like 2-3 more fights, and then we'll see what happens. We got a question. Jesus has a question for you. Let's say, Fino, be honest, and why hasn't Jose Ramirez fixed obvious flaws, head movement, slow footwork, wide open, jumping into opponents? Well, you go ahead. You go first.
Obviously, he went to Robert Garcia, who's not a great defensive, he's not Virgil Hunter. He's a great trainer, obviously one of the best in the world. Great grand plan coming into most of his fights. Obviously, he has created, I don't know how many champions, 11 or 12. You got to give him credit, but he's not known as a defensive coach. Nothing against him. Obviously, he's a great guy, great fight, was a former world champion, guy who's been there, knows what it takes. It's just, if he says slow footwork, it's just, guess what? He probably just, that's where his natural abilities. That's how it is. And Josh Taylor was no slouch.
I think it really is giving credit to Josh Taylor. Like I keep telling people, it wasn't Jose Ramirez, just couldn't figure it out, or could, like the stuff, like the footwork and stuff. I thought, he fought a good fight. He just, Josh Taylor fought a better fight.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
that's
I just think the power wasn't there for like Jose Ramirez. I mean, he knocked his last knockout and one knockout in 4 years was against Maurice Hooker. He didn't put him down. He was, he hurt him against the ropes. That's when he unified titles in Texas, and he was able to stop him. But he wasn't able to knock out Postol, Antonio Orozco. Like, the power wasn't there to keep Josh Taylor at bay. Josh Taylor was able to feint him and was able to do what he wanted to do. He did fade in the last rounds, going against a great guy like Jose Ramirez, but he showed that heart and determination. He's just not a defensive guy. That's just how it is. You have like a guy like Tite Vasquez back in the day who will put people to sleep. But if you try changing his style and try to make him more offensive minded, like, that's not who he is. He's probably gonna get hurt. So the same thing with Jose Ramirez. He's not a boxer. He's not.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, man. And Josh Taylor, I feel also is you make a good point about the power situation, because not to say Jose doesn't have like great power, but he's not, a Triple G or anything like that. And the thing about Josh Taylor is, man, Josh Taylor almost kind of made Jose Ramirez look small at 140 pounds. Like he made Regis look small at 140 pounds. And I think, seeing Regis looks like a big guy. Like Jose Ramirez, you could see how he can make. I've only seen Jose in like fight camp, so he's already slim.
Yeah.
But man, he doesn't. I'm sure his body can use the filling into 147, but he's not that big of a, like, he's a solid sized guy. But Josh Taylor like dwarfed both of those guys. Like Josh Taylor looked huge.
Yeah, no, he was the bigger guy, and that just being able to make the weight and being able to to refresh and come in into fight night healthy. I don't know what he was weighing on fight night, but I would imagine somewhere close in the 155, 160. He was the bigger guy, and he has pop. Like I said, he's a guy who only 16, 17 fights coming in. He wasn't that well known, but just looking at his record, his amateur record when he fought in the World Boxing Super Series, he just has what it takes. He was that guy. Honestly, I kept telling people, like, I was picking Josh Taylor. Nothing against Robert Garcia and Jose Ramirez. Great people, great champions, but I favor, Josh Taylor coming in. Yeah,
he is a special fighter. You have to kind of recognize that, and he just is. He's a special fighter. We're going to see what it's going to be fun to watch him, because he's young. He's only 18 fights, and I like the kind of grittiness, like the talking shit, all that stuff. Like that's obviously great for us. You know what I mean? So the more of that, the better.
Yeah, if I was there, but I mean, and Tyson, do something.
Like
fake Canelo. Don't just.
You said your mama.
I mean, it's just. Honestly, the fight itself, like, to me, in my opinion, I don't know how many people are going to tune in. Maybe most of the people that probably tune in were like, damn, it's the NBA playoffs, check it out. But just leading up for the week, like, there wasn't, like, ESPN wasn't talking about it. They were talking about more of, Jake Paul and Mayweather and Jake Paul, got your hat. That was that was the headline news for ESPN. I'm like, bro, you got an undisputed fight. Put them on your morning shows, put them on your debate shows. Like, leading up all week, I was checking, like, part of the interruption around the horn, like, not a beat. Obviously, you can see it like in the ticker, here and there, but like,
for it to be on ESPN and not get as much love as it should have was a little disappointing, especially obviously being a boxing fan. But luckily things heated up towards the end, and it
exactly. So we needed that from Josh Taylor, to kind of like. Get the numbers moving. Okay, well, damn, they fight this weekend. Okay, they got to check it out.
Right? Yeah, man. The Brits are coming through with the drama. I will say that they are coming through with the drama the last couple of weeks for sure.
Finally a W. For
for that side.
Yeah, they're taking a big L's, lately. So they had to get one on the board. It's good, Obviously, you want to even it out in a sense, so we can have that competition. Mexico against the UK, US against the UK, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Mexico against Japan, so
yeah, for sure,
very
man.
Cool.
You got this question from Raiders 4821, Barrios versus Tank, and Linares versus Haney. Do you think Linares will be slower?
I've seen tape of Linares and he looks fucking fast. Obviously not the fastest he's been in 135, but I think this is a fight that Linares has to maybe be a little bit different. And not actually box. I think he's gonna try to go in there and get the kill. in a sense, try to maybe get Haney out in the 6-7 rounds early on. But I mean, David Haney, just looking at the tape also from camp, you could tell, he's 21, 22, even though he doesn't have that much pop, you could say. But I think he's getting that men's strength. I think now we might see a little more knockouts coming out of Devin Haney. Obviously, he didn't look his best against Gamboa, but it's a great fight. Overall, it's a 3-division 1 champion in the United States who's been there, done that, and good thing, Devin Haney is not a Mexican, because if he was, then you'd be like, dang, he's gonna knock out Linares, because Linares every time he faces a Mexican is like, he gets knocked out. So maybe they come out with a sombrero just in case,
just in case, like Mayweather De La Hoya style. Man.
Yeah, I made my debut in Tijuana. Fought like 10, 12 guys there early on. Like, in a sense, yeah. I mean, he is. He grew up in Tijuana. Yeah. Devin Haney. His boxing career, not obviously.
Right, of course.
But, I see it as a great matchup. I think it's gonna be competitive for a few rounds. But I mean, unlikely not is. He's a great guy, great person. But I mean, Devin Haney to me right now is the better fighter, and eventually I see him probably stopping Jorge Linares, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, Linares is always a dangerous fighter. That right hand doesn't get much straighter. You know what I mean? That right hand is a thing of beauty. But he is getting on in years now. Devin Haney is rolling right now too, and I feel like Devin Haney's kind of a special athlete. Not only just in his physicality wise, but I also like. Devin Haney's been making a guaranteed $1 million since his DAZN contract started, and that was 2-ish years ago or something like that.
Yeah. I think that kicked in when he became a world champion. So he was the interim champion.
Okay,
he won it at the small venue at the Garden, the Hulu Theater, I think it's called. And then after that, his second fight was like mandatory. So he got $1 million when he fought at Staples and under the YouTubers. He wasn't a big fan of fighting on the YouTubers, but I think he got like 100,000 new followers on IG, so he was okay with it.
Right.
to that point, now he just reached $1 million. He doesn't have Ryan Garcia numbers or those Tang numbers. But again, he's only 21, 22, a great guy, humble guy, good to talk to. And obviously, level-headed guy. Like, obviously, he's a guy who's going to compete at 135, 140, 147 down the line. And hopefully, we get to see Haney, if he's able to beat Linares, hopefully we get to see Haney against Teofimo Lopez, because right now both guys, 22, 23. If we could see that fight in the next year, bro, I mean, shit, man, it would be amazing.
That'd be beautiful. I feel like, man, I don't like. They're almost like too young to be like how old was Oscar when he fought Trinidad? When they were like mid-20s, right? Like 26,
maybe 25, 26,
yeah, like 25, 26. So I feel like both of these guys have to continue to make their names relevant. You know what I mean? I think Teofimo is probably more on the way now to doing that than Devin is, or he's a little ahead of the race as far as in that department.
Yeah. No question. He's been packed,
obviously becoming undisputed on ESPN, and then now with this Triller thing, like the Triller machine is pushing these guys, which is beautiful, man. I mean, like this Kambosos fight is making a lot of noise, and I was at Robert Garcia's gym last week asking them what they thought about Lopez Kambosos, and most of the people told me like I've never seen Kambosos. And I could be honest with you too. I haven't seen him either. I've heard of him, like I've heard the name, and I've, because we're in boxing, we hear that stuff. But but I haven't, like, not that I've looked for tape, but I just haven't seen him. It's not like I haven't gone out of my way yet.
You haven't gone out of your way, yeah. I mean, I don't think nobody, just from the people that I talked to in boxing, no one's given Kambosos any chance. I mean, decent guy, great record, but again, the opponents haven't been A-level guys, and Teofimo Lopez is one of those guys. You could say undisputed. He does have 3 belts, and he does a franchise, which you can make a case he is undisputed. He's not. If you ask the WC, he is. If you ask him on Monday, he's undisputed. If you ask him on Tuesday, he's not. That's how it is with the franchise belt. And I blame the WBC for creating that controversy in a sense.
Right, that's a bummer.
Because now we have the franchise, the regular, the interim, and the silver. And I know somebody earlier said Pablo Cesar Cano. Pablo Cesar Cano was one of those guys who was going to face, I don't know who he was going to face somewhere in Dallas, and for some reason, he was going to face Jonathan Navarro, I believe, and then he got injured, the fight got pulled. Navarro was released out of Golden Boy. Now he was going to fight on Ring City, and it's just, he got injured, I believe, and he got pulled out as well from that fight. And Pablo Cesar Cano, a great guy, again, he was a guy who's faced pretty much everybody. Paulo Maldonado, Morales,
Eric Morales, man.
Yeah.
That's how Eric Morales won. Didn't Eric Morales become the first Mexican to win 4 belts, and it was because he fought Cano, right?
Yeah, and Cano at that point he was considered, the guy who was going to come out and beat somebody out of Mexico, and I think he was the one who handled his first defeat. I mean, so kind of like a similar situation we can see now with Linares and Devin Haney. But yeah, I mean, Cano, he's a guy level-headed guy who likes to fight. But again, he's not too popular. He is with Golden Boy, so we'll see what's next for him. But
yeah, and then we got this question from Raiders 4821. What do you guys think of Herod versus Luis Arias?
Yeah, man, that's gonna be part of the mega fight. Fight of the year. I'm kidding, it's not fight of the year. Well, unless the numbers blow up. But Logan Paul against Mayweather, he'll be part of that card. Jerry Hurt, guy who at one point he was like, man, he's the guy who's gonna stop Canelo. That's what people were saying before he lost. But again, he was a unified champion. He was able to beat and knock out Lara at that point at the Hard Rock. We used to be the Hard Rock, now it's the Virgin Hotel. He needs that bounce back. And Luis Arias, decent guy, reliable guy, but I think Hurt comes out. If Hurt wants to come out and continue and be considered a world title.
Is that 154 pounds or 160?
150. Hurt was the champion in 154.
Right.
He was the champion in 154, and then obviously he lost against J-Rock. J-Rock lost against Rosario, and then Rosario lost against Jamal Charlo.
Yeah, I feel like I've been hearing Hurd about him moving up for a long time, and seeing the size of him, I feel like he should move up. Yeah. I think it'd be more effective because he's a big guy. He's a tall, kind of a thick dude. I was surprised. I was like, wow, you make 154 pounds?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he's making 154. I mean, I want to say he's like 6'2", 6.5. His frame is huge. He was towering over Hernan de Lara, when he beat him, and Hernan decent high, 5'10", 5'11". So this is a guy who could easily, fight at 160, 168, and obviously 175. But he's competing at 154. I don't know if this fight is at 160. To be honest, I heard he might move up, but this is a fight he needs. Regardless.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good fight to. Coming off of a long layoff that he's coming off of. Obviously, pandemic just set everything back for everybody. But for guys to come back with that's a decent scrap. This is no gimme fight. Herd's gonna be in a good scrap that night for sure, man. Thank you, Raider. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for tuning in. I gotta ask you, man. Before we get out of here, Pacquiao Spence got announced last week was a crazy ass week because within 3 days we got Wilder Fury 3, Pacquiao Spence came out of left field. I think we were all what's going on? But yeah, let's talk about that, man. What do you think about Pacquiao versus Spence?
You know what? I actually knew about Pacquiao Spence about 4 weeks ago, but I couldn't say anything. Adriana, I obviously she works at Fox, and they said, hey, Pacquiao Spence looks like she's gonna be a done deal. They just have to sign the contracts, and it's it's a set thing. And the whole thing, obviously, it's a great matchup. Manny Pacquiao, 42 years old. When you think, dang, he faced, Keith Thurman, and before that, he faced Adrian Broner, and now he's fighting the guy. You can say at 147. It's crazy. And then when you look at Floyd Mayweather, obviously Logan Paul, that Japanese dude,
right,
and
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, and Conor McGregor, bro. I mean, Mayweather, you got to give him, 50-0 in a sense, 49-0 in my opinion, because obviously you don't count that Conor McGregor.
Right.
But man, Pacquiao, you got to give him a lot of respect, because honestly, before they would say that he didn't want to fight Errol Spence, But even Leonard Ellerby was like, bro, Manny Pacquiao wants that fight, and here it is. Obviously, great matchup. I just think Errol Spence is too good on his prime. And I just see, Errol Spence being the favorite, but great matchup. You got to give him credit.
Man,
I could have faced anybody, and it would have been a pay-per-view fight. But the fact that he's fighting the guy at 147, man, you got to give him credit.
It's just, man, I love Manny Pacquiao. When I saw that, I was just like, Manny, I was like Larry Merchant, Manny Pacquiao, I love you.
Fight week is gonna be insane. I wish it was in Dallas at the AT&T Stadium just because of what we saw from Canelo. But it's gonna be at the home of the Raiders, which is it's gonna be phenomenal as well. And that's where also Wilder against Fury is gonna take place. and that's crazy too. I mean, obviously, they thought that they were gonna, dismiss the case from Deontay Wilder, even though it's a civil case, But again, like I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're not gonna get Joshua Fury, cool. Let's get this matchup between Wilder and Fury, and then we can see Joshua against Usyk. And maybe we can see, like Andy Ruiz against Dylan White. So there's a lot of big fights at heavyweight, that from this it could develop and actually,
right.
take place.
No, 100%. I'm not mad at it at all. I think the Wilder Fury press weeks were great. Both of them were great. Like the fights were good. Like the fights were entertaining. Wilder always has that one hitter quitter, man. That one shot that could end things. And
but again, you have to think. Obviously, Wilder has that power, but can he have a consistent jab? Can he not rely on that power? Because obviously that's what it was. At any point he cannot do that. We've seen it against Luis Ortiz the second fight. He was literally getting outboxed, losing every single minute of that fight. Until he landed and he was able to put him to sleep. But now he has a new trainer, which is former opponent. Get your popcorn ready in Puerto Rico, and he blinked, and then he got knocked out against with Malik Scott. So obviously they have that friendship and stuff. But hopefully we see a better Deontay Wilder, because you know what, that would make things better for fight fans, for the media, for pretty much everyone involved. It's just, even if he loses, which to me you gotta have Tyson Fury as a favorite.
Probably.
We know Deontay's been in camp. He looks in great shape, and Tyson Fury, he has been running, getting those miles, but he has that belly that I have, and I'm like, bro, gotta get in the gym. You gotta get in the gym,
right.
But,
yeah, I think it's good too, because now, like, we're not just glossing over all the the glove controversy, the weighted vest, the weighted walk-in shirt and whatever, the fiery Mark Breland, all that stuff. Like, obviously we would ask Wilder about that stuff, whatever his next fight would have been.
Yeah.
But now it's like that's it. That's what you came up. Those are the reasons, whatever, right? That you came up with that first time.
Yeah.
So now it's leading up to it. It's like, all right, kind of explain yourself, right? Like, well, why do you think these things, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then it's also kind of like, all right, this is the end of it. Like, this is then, okay, now maybe you'll be sharper on the glove, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember that fight night. That was the first time I seen medium people cry when Deontay Wilder got knocked out.
Really? Who cried?
Yeah. I'm not going to say, the names, because it's just like, bro, how can you're like, they were literally crying like, shit, like, bro, this is, to me, who wins, who cares, like, there to cover the fight, that's it. Don't say I'm Team Fury, Team Wilder. That was the first time I've seen leader actually cry that Deontay Wilder got knocked out, which is, which is kind of sad, but, it makes me laugh, I'm having a bad day. Let me go back to that day. Oh, damn, those two cried? Damn, okay.
Makes you feel better?
Yeah, it does, man. It brightens up it makes my day a little better. How do you have media cry, bro? Like, shit.
Bro, we're not supposed to cheer. We're not supposed to cheer or cry. They need to put that in the little media email next time.
Exactly, bro. You just don't do that. Like, grown man cry, bro. I was like, dang, someone passed away or what? Like, you get a text. Grandma passed away. Grandma took the last breath. What's going on? Oh man, Deontay, my boy got knocked out.
Oh God.
Bro, does he even know who the fuck you are?
Does he know who you are?
Yeah, do you know you exist? Like, man.
Does he repost your stuff at least?
Yeah. Man, bro, if you're Team Wilder, why are you on 300 level with me?
Oh God. Oh man, that's hilarious, bro. That's hilarious. Oh man, my last one for you, bro. My last one for you. With say Pacquiao does beat Earl Spence, right? If that were to happen, does Pacquiao surpass Mayweather in the pound for pound debate if he hasn't already?
No, to me, obviously he might have a bigger legacy. A Division I champion, beating Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, Eddie Broner, the last three opponents. you just have to give him like credit. It's just what it is. But I mean, Mayweather was able to beat him. It's one thing that you just can't get over. Like you can't say he's the best or he's better than Floyd when Floyd schooled him. Especially it was an even fight, 6-7 rounds going into the fight, and then Floyd just took over the last 4 or 5 rounds, and Manny Pacquiao didn't have an option, didn't have an answer for it. So you just can't do that. Like.
Yeah, no, I there's that's
he might have a better legacy.
Right. I don't. It's. I don't know, man. I understand that argument. That obviously makes sense. I'm not gonna try to change your mind with that. But I do see like the point of guys like Max Kellerman was like when he was explaining, because he had Pacquiao ahead of Mayweather even after they fought, but a good like when HBO was still around, right? So like 3-4 years ago or something.
Yeah.
When we'd actually see Max around, right? And so like when Max talked about it, then he was like, Pacquiao was the champion at 115 pounds. He's like, imagine like Chocolatito moves up and fights Terrence Crawford at welterweight and like loses like a decision, like he lost a clear decision, but didn't get dominated, wasn't like beat up or anything like that, and then continues his career after that. And like seeing it from that point of view is like, wow, like it's pretty incredible to go from 115 pounds to now 147 pounds, like 42 years old, and he's facing Earl Spence. If he were to beat an Earl Spence, it would also kind of depend, right, like where Earl Spence's career goes from here. But because I was talking to somebody else about this, and I feel like Canelo's continued success almost amplifies Floyd's career. You know what I mean? Because Floyd did beat Canelo, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And so
one-sided fight, yeah.
Yeah. So like I can see where, like, say Pacquiao beats Earl Spence, and say like you were saying, like say Earl Spence, goes and unifies like the 154-pound division, then moves up to middleweight and becomes a middleweight champion. I feel like, there is an argument for it. Like I'm not saying that it's clearly it's better, but I feel like there is an argument to say like, well, like, yeah, he lost the head-to-head at that time in his career. But there's arguments for that too, right? Like like that was 6 years too late.
Yeah, it's not like Floyd was just a one division world champion. I mean, he beat Chicanito Hernandez, I think, at 130. So 130, 135, 140, 147. So again, he is also a 4-division world champion. Yeah,
didn't he beat Chiquita at 126? I
mean, it could have been 126. Yeah, it could have been 126. Honestly, I don't remember from the top of my head. But again, if it's 126, 126, 115, even though yes, there's 118, 122 in between. But you just he was never a guy at 147. And
true,
and
good point.
For that reason alone too, he was at that point he was pretty boy Floyd when he was knocking out everyone out. Yeah. Not everyone, obviously. He lost the first fight against Jose Luis Castillo. You can make a case, but he was getting lesser knockouts as he was going up. 140 or 147.
Right.
So like you have to take that into account as well.
Of course. No, you're 100% right. And I think, speaking to that also, talking about like the knockouts and stuff, he got a lot of knockouts with the guys at like 130, 135, 140. Yeah. I think, Floyd himself isn't, like you said, isn't that big of a guy. Like he
no, he's like a legit 5'8", like 5'7". If you're standing next to the bodyguards, he looks like he's 4'1".
Right, yeah. He looks like he's one of their kids or something. Yeah, he's really small compared to them.
But he was a small 147.
Yeah, and I think that also, Pacquiao grew into his power, and as his body filled in, his power like got better. But that was always part of the Pacquiao package was the power. And Floyd, it was just, I think in Floyd's case at the lighter weight classes, it was partially his style being a little more aggressive, but also the size of the opponents. And so when he got to 147, these guys are harder to knock out, and especially for a smaller frame guy. So, that's why the knockouts kind of stopped, but the dominance didn't stop. You know what I mean? He still dominated them.
Yeah, and Kevin's here says obviously fifth division world champion. Yeah, because he also won at 154. So there you go. He went from 130 to 154. So again, you got to give a lot of credit on that. And just like you mentioned, like when Max Kellerman said, "Oh, imagine Chocolatito, going up all the way to 147." Chocolatito's like 5'2".
Right.
Pacquiao is now 5'2".
Right.
5'7", 5'8". He does have some height in him. Yeah, Pacquiao. I mean, Chocolatito is fucking tiny. He struggles making 115. Now you could tell. Fight week. He's barely fucking breathing. And then obviously, he's able to rehydrate and be a monster on fight night. But that's why he moved up to 115. Like, if he were to move up to 118, like he might be better as far as like not killing himself. But going against the 118, it'd just be too tough for Chocolatito. It's just his frame is too small.
Yeah, he's a little guy. Yeah, it's tough for him to make the weight, but he's like you said.
You can put him against Inoue, the monster. Like just to me, Inoue is. I mean, he's a monster. Simple as that.
He really is. Yeah. It was cool. It was cool interviewing him and seeing him for that Superfly 2 card. That was dope. That was dope.
That was cool, man. That was. Yeah, he's actually back. He returns June 19 when everybody fights. You have 5 cards. You have Thriller, you have DAZN, you have Chavez against Silva, including Chavez Sr.'s last fight. You have Jaime Munguia. You have Showtime against Jamal Charlo against Juan Macias Montiel. And then you have Teofimo Lopez. I mean, it's just, boxing galore, which is cool. But, like, bro, can somebody move to the 18 and can someone move to the 20? Yeah, so I don't know what we're gonna do on the 19th, but we'll definitely be watching boxing.
Bro. I'm covering something that day. I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I'm covering something because there's too much boxing not to be covering stuff.
Yeah, we'll be down in Guadalajara for that one. Just not as much for the Chavez Jr. against Henderson Silva because I'm not a UFC guy. I mean, people say he was obviously a great guy at MMA, but just because it's Chavez Sr.'s last fight, I never got to see him actually, live, being in the arena. So the fact that now I could go and cover it, like I just got to go. Simple as that.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. It's a hometown, right?
It's my hometown too. So not his hometown, but that's mine.
Yeah,
so,
right. But yours.
Yeah, for sure. So I got to go open up the stadium. When I get
Yeah. We got one last question here. Raider 4821 says, "Do you guys think Burchelt was having trouble making weight versus Valdez? He didn't look great on the scale, and he ate canned peaches right away. He did. He was eating canned peaches right away. I don't know. What do you think?
You know what? A few months before that, obviously he had caught COVID. So a lot of people say it was more than that, more of that instead of not making, having trouble making weight in 130 because he's not that big of a guy though. When you compare him against like a Jamal Herring is fucking huge for that weight class, 130. And Berchelt, just his height and his frame, he could be a 126, 130, maybe pushing it to 135. But again, he was, he has holes in his game, and Eder Reynoso and Oscar Valdez were able to capitalize. And from the get-go, they know when to box, they know when to exchange. They know, Oscar Valdez a couple times went southpaw. Like they just had like, from what it seems like, the perfect fight plan. So you got to give them credit for beating Miguel Berchelt, who at that time was considered the best guy at 130 pounds. The guy who, he believed he was gonna stop Tank Davis and he was going to stop Lomachenko. The fact that you have Oscar Valdez at 30 years old, on his prime, coming and literally, one-sided fight. So to me, it could be COVID. We don't know actually if he had any effects, post-COVID, but you just got to give credit to Oscar Valdez.
Yeah, man. I didn't see like a COVID like hampered Burchelt, man. I just saw a brilliant Valdez. Like it was a brilliant game plan. Valdez has been telling us for a while that he can box. He's a 2-time Olympian in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like that's not easy. That's not easy at all. You have to be able to do to be able to do other things than just brawl when you're an Olympian, because you see all the styles of the world. And so. I think it was really just, and Burchelt was on his ass the whole time. You know what I mean? He was trying to engage, trying to get him to engage, trying to get him to get in a firefight with him. Burchelt was just smashing him on the way in every time. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Burchelt was coming in with, with the hands on his hip, You know, and yeah, I mean, obviously defensively he had, you know, you just have holes. He had them, and Valdez was able to capitalize. And you got to give him credit. The second time that Valdez made the Olympics, he was able to beat, you know, Berchet for the qualifying. So Berchet could have been an Olympian, but you know, Valdez was there, you know, ahead of him, and he was able to beat him, you know, in the qualifying to get that spot in the Olympics. So you got to give, you know, Oscar Valdez a lot of credit, and we'll see what's next for him too, because you know, he could be changing. He could be changing. I don't want to say too much. You know.
Yeah, man, we'll see. 130 pounds is very interesting, and you know, unfortunately, as boxing fans, we always got to think of the promotional aspect of it, right? So what's happening with that?
Yeah, we'll see. I think we'll see him at least one more time with Top Rank, but we'll see down the future holes because you know he's Teofimo Lopez don't want to come back. Terence Crawford's about to be a free agent. You know, let's just say those won't be the only free agents leaving Top Rank. We'll see.
Man, I hope they get it together over there because man, I mean, I just, you know, whatever makes the big fights happen, that's all I care about.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, like now we see Shakur Stevenson, who's fighting for the interim belt on June 12th at the Virgin Hotels on ESPN. You know, he's fighting for the interim, so at least it gives me hope. Like, cool, maybe we can see that unification fight between Jamal Herring and Oscar Valdez. To me, that's a fight I want to see. Shakur Stevenson, great fighter, great boxer. Obviously, in a sense, to me, he could be the guy, you know, battling for the pound for pound in 2 years, maybe. You know, if he's able to beat the winner of those two, and maybe, you know, get another belt 130 or even move up to 135. But I want to see that matchup between Jamal Herring, who's a great guy, respectable guy, a champion. You know, went to the Marines, against, you know, Oscar Valdez, a guy who also I think was part of the Mexico Armada or something like that. So it just overall will be a great matchup to see. And hopefully we see that unification match hopefully in September, October at some point, or maybe, you know, hopefully in August. We'll see after the Olympics. But that's a fight I definitely want to see.
Remember when we saw Jamal Herring's team get escorted out of the Matchroom Hotel? That was just more because they weren't COVID tested, but it was kind of funny to see, like, bro, it's Matchroom in here. Get Top Rank out of here.
Yeah, I don't know who told security, man, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I can tell that. I like Jamal. I like Jamal Herring, man. He's a cool.
Yeah,
guy.
he's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, he owes me a few interviews, but he's a cool guy, you know.
Yeah, Jamal's cool. Or Jamal, I'm sorry. Jamal Herring, I'm sorry. But yeah, no, he's it's a cool dude. Hopefully, I think they both want the fight, so hopefully it happens, man. Yeah,
exactly. And Valdez, you know, said he was ready and willing to face him, even if he wasn't a world champion. Which to me, you know, shit, make a case, you know, to make it a unification fight. But you know, again, Oscar, this is one of those nice guys, man. He at one point he said, "Oh, you know what? If nobody wants to give Joseph Diaz a chance at a world title, like I'll put my world title and we'll fight. We'll fight."
Yeah.
He had no business doing that. I mean, he said it. Obviously, he never came to full effect. But now that, you know, Joseph Diaz is going to 135 for Fortuna, I don't know if there's going to be a belt on the line or not. Like, it might be the interim. It's going to be Ryan's interim. Is it going to be an interim from the WBA? We'll see, you know?
Yeah. No, we'll see. Oscar's like, Oscar's has this attitude, right?
Watch your mouth. When I see you was on.
Yeah. I see you outside. Yeah, man.
Bueno, ya sacaron a Demetrius Andrade, se puso caliente la cosa.
Next question, please.
Okay. No.
I just
Eddie
like
Hearn's like, damn, I don't know that guy. I promote him, but I don't know him. No, and you know what he said? He didn't say, "Oh, I'll catch you outside." He said, "Oh, hands on sight." He basically, next time I see you, I'm a
right. Yeah.
I was like, cool. Yeah. Can you just wait? Maybe you can look at each other, you know. But, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, Fino, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you for jumping on the stream, bro. I appreciate it, man. Everyone follow Fino Boxing on YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter too, right? I think you guys are on Twitter too. Yeah, all of that stuff. But yeah, definitely go to Fino Boxing. Subscribe to their channel. Great content. They got great content, and they put up the ladies at the fight, which I think we're all going to start doing. So that was a good call. Fino,
I patterned that, so you can't.
Hold on for me a second, brother. I'm going to do the outro. But thank you guys all for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next time, man. You want to say anything else, Fino?
No, that's it, man. I had a great time. Thanks for the invite. We'll look forward to doing it once again.
Yeah, for sure, brother. All right, thank you guys.